I am so sick of everyone demanding Well of Radiance Warlocks on LFG. Not that I have a problem with Well of Radiance Warlocks or anything, like, you Warlock mains are great, much love to you, but isn't there more to life than a big orange circle? Not only do I believe that there is, but I think that there is actually something out there that is better. Not just better than Well of Radiance Warlock, but better than anything that the PvE Destiny space has ever seen. And today, I will show you exactly how to master it. In Destiny, there are two primary questions you need to answer when deciding your loadout, build, and strategy. How will I kill the enemy, and how will I avoid being killed by the enemy? These two questions boil down to two terms: damage and survivability. Things like Well of Radiance dominate the PvE space by providing an abundance of both of these things. That's why you see so much of it. And sure, you can die inside a Well of Radiance, but it is really, really, really hard to. But today I have something that actually brings more survivability to both you and your teammates than Well of Radiance ever could. And though I won't pretend for a single second that it will bring more damage to your team, you know what they say: a dead Guardian does 0 damage. So if my method can keep you and your teammates alive more often, that means you get to do more damage. Boom, logic, it works, don't question it. Today I want to talk to you about Bottom Tree Nightstalker paired with the chest piece exotic Omnioculus. This pairing became available in Season of the Chosen when Omnioculus was introduced to the game, and I can confidently say it is one of the strongest builds and playstyles in the entire game. It is this build and playstyle that has allowed me to carry thousands of Guardians through Grandmaster Nightfalls, even the hard ones like Proving Grounds, Glassway, Hollowed Lair, and the Corrupted. You have infinite grenades, infinite smoke bombs, infinite invisibility, and most importantly, infinite survivability. Both the worst and best thing about this build and playstyle, however, is how complicated it is. You see, if you throw on this subclass an exotic, you will not instantly become OP. You will actually probably feel that it is pretty underwhelming. But once you begin to learn the abilities, the synergies, the combos, and the rotations, you will fall in love. It is weak in the hands of a beginner, but unstoppable in the hands of a master. So let's get to talking about all of the different components of this masterpiece. We will start by talking about the perks and abilities granted by the Bottom Tree Nightstalker subclass. Next, we will do a rundown of Omnioculus's exotic perks, followed by a highlight of the synergies between the two. Once you know the synergies, we can then talk about the combos and skill rotations that you need to master, followed by the playstyle that you want to utilize to make the most of those combos and rotations. And finally, what stats and mods you will want to bring to the party to maximize your ability to Thanos snap your enemies into nothing. That meme is 2 years old, but it still works. It's a lot, and this is sure to be a long video, but I promise you, if you can watch this in its entirety, you will never play Destiny 2 the same, ever again. So welcome to your Omnioculus training video. My name is Mactics, this is your new Bible, and Destiny is about to change for you forever. Let's begin and go beyond the veil. Chapter 1 is all about Bottom Tree Nightstalker, the fundamental building blocks to your new super soldier. Despite these being the basics, you need to understand these just as well, if not better, than the more complex aspects of Omnioculus Hunter, because if your foundation is fragile, then the rest will come crashing down. And honestly, I bet there's some things that you don't know about Bottom Tree Nightstalker, so you might learn something new from this section. So, first things first, we want to talk about our core abilities. First up with the grenade, we want Vortex Grenade as it is the best for landing hits on targets in PvE. You'll understand why that's more important later. Next up is Gambler's Dodge, which is going to give us a full refund of 1 melee charge whenever it is activated within 14 meters of an enemy. This ability is an 18-second cooldown at tier 10 mobility. The first perk to highlight on Bottom Tree Nightstalker specifically is Vanish in Smoke, which is what is making us invisible. It makes everyone within its explosion radius invisible for about 7 seconds. Now, this ability is a bit more complex than most realize, so let's take a moment to break down some of its more advanced features. One of the primary mechanics of the smoke bomb is what I like to call the grace period. For 1 second after going invisible, you can do absolutely anything without being pulled out of invisibility. This is more than enough time to fire off a sniper shot, sling a rocket at a pack of ads, or the most common use case, chucking your grenade to get some more melee energy while invisible. More on that later. The next advanced piece of knowledge about the smoke bomb is that it doesn't just make guardians invisible on detonation. There is actually a lingering effect from the smoke bomb that lasts for about half a second, where any guardian who passes through the area will receive invisibility. The most common way you will use this piece of knowledge is to preemptively smoke an area while you are getting an ally's res, immediately covering them in smoke as they spawn in. Our next perk is Combat Provision, which gives us melee energy when we damage enemies with grenades, and grenade energy when we make guardians invisible. That first piece is why utilizing the grace period to throw off a grenade is so important, because we can be recharging our smoke grenades while maintaining invisibility. Throwing your grenade on enemy vehicles like Fallen Spider tanks and Cabal Goliath tanks will refund both of your smoke charges in the blink of an eye as well. The second piece can be utilized to have infinite uptime on your grenade as well. Regardless of discipline, you are refunded 25% of your grenade per guardian smoked, including yourself, which means in 3-man activities, if you make your entire team invisible, you get 75% of your grenade back. The next piece of this subclass is the Heart of the Pack buff, which is a piece of the Vanish in Smoke perk and not its own unique perk. Making yourself or allies invisible provides this buff, which grants weapon haste, aka handling and reload speed, and increased mobility, recovery, and resilience. The best utilization for this buff is the faster weapon handling and reload speed, which can make you significantly deadlier in combat. The next perk, Lockdown, is a very simple perk that allows your grenade to last twice as long, which is actually very nice as it helps us make the most out of combat provision with our grenades. The final piece of this subclass is Mobius Quiver, your super. This doesn't get utilized too much on Omnioculus Hunter as the damage isn't spectacular, however you do get 5 to 6 arrows with the super depending on how fast you fire them. Since you are propped airborne with these shots, I actually love using this as a movement tool to recover from a fall or extend my jump to a faraway platform. However, it never hurts to use this when you are in a pinch for damage and completely out of ammo. So, that is everything about the subclass itself. Do me a favor and drop a like on the video and a subscription on the channel if you learned something new about Bottom Tree Nightstalker in this chapter. Now that that's all taken care of, let's move on to Chapter 2 and talk about all of the perks that the Omnioculus chest piece exotic is granting us. Omnioculus only gives us one actual perk, Beyond the Veil, but it has 3 different components to it. The first of these components gives us an additional melee charge for a total of 2 maximum smoke bombs. The second component grants you and allies damage resistance while invisible. This is enough resistance to survive a Taken Phalanx or Cabal Incendior blast in Grandmaster Nightfalls where you would otherwise die. The final component, and the most important one to make efficient utilization of, refunds melee energy when making ally guardians invisible. Regardless of strength, you receive 50% of a smoke bomb charge per ally smoked, which means if you smoke 2 allies, you will get that smoke bomb refunded to you in full. It is important to note, however, that unlike Combat Provision granting grenade energy for making yourself invisible, you do not refund smoke bomb energy for making yourself invisible from the Beyond the Veil perk. Now that we know everything about the tools in our toolbox, let's look at how they work together. We can synergize Combat Provision from Bottom Tree Nightstalker with Beyond the Veil Component 3 very effectively in 2 ways that results in a positive feedback loop. The first of which is to utilize Combat Provision on an entire 3-man fire team to refund 75% of our grenade energy, which will also refund our entire smoke bomb charge from the 2 ally guardians smoked. This easily keeps you throwing grenades within seconds of each other. The second way to utilize this synergy is to be consistently throwing your grenade that you receive from this use of Combat Provision, which will activate the second piece of Combat Provision and refund your melee energy for the damage that your grenade does, allowing you to continue smoking yourself and allies for more grenade energy. This loop is not only important to understand for the defensive purpose of always having smoke bombs available, but also for the offensive purpose of always having a grenade to zone control with or to do significant damage to groups of enemy targets. Understanding this synergy inside and out is the key to mastering Omnioculus Hunter. Now that we know how everything works together, what combos do we want to utilize to make sure that our ability rotations are on point? The 2 most important combos to understand to keep your ability cooldowns rotating properly are the Smoke Grenade combo and the Smoke Dodge combo. These combos are as simple as they sound, where the Smoke Grenade combo involves making yourself invisible and then immediately throwing a grenade at enemy targets during the grace period to refund smoke bomb energy while maintaining invisibility. The smoke dodge combo is equally as simple, involving making yourself invisible and then immediately dodging near an enemy target to refund that smoke bomb charge. The two biggest mistakes that players make with this combo are either using their dodge when they almost or already have 2 smoke bomb charges, effectively wasting the dodge, or not using it while you are lacking on smoke energy. You need to look at your dodge as a third smoke bomb that recharges in 18 seconds. So anytime that you have your dodge available while you are low on smoke bombs, you are wasting a smoke bomb charge. Do not underestimate the importance of these combos due to their simplicity, as messing up either of them can leave you without ability energy when you need it. Moving on to some of the more complex stuff you can do, the grace period can be utilized for absolutely anything. Firing a sniper shot, a grenade launcher shot, a rocket, a grenade, a shot from your super, literally anything as long as it happens within the grace period. The only thing that will never take you out of invisibility is your dodge, which can be done at any time. Anything else will take you out of invisibility if not done within the grace period. The next cool technique that you can do is what I call the invis finisher. It's pretty simple but highly effective for neutralizing dangerous, low health targets and ad dense locations where you would get blown up after finishing. Simply make yourself invisible and dodge to refund your smoke as you run to the finishable target. Next, throw a smoke bomb at the ground in front of the target while immediately hitting the finisher button afterwards. The smoke bomb you threw will detonate as your character moves in for the finisher, applying invisibility to you while you are in the animation. The next combo is the one you want to utilize for rezzing teammates that are in the middle of enemies, and it involves going invisible to approach your teammate's res, dodging as soon as you are in range of enemies to refund the smoke charge and to put your dodge on cooldown. As you get to about 50% on the revive, you can throw another smoke bomb to reapply invisibility to yourself and apply invisibility to your teammate as they respawn from the lingering smoke effect. You can repeat this same process if you have multiple dead teammates. For bonus points, you can maximize the efficiency of this technique by dodging and getting the res at the same time by rapidly flicking your mouse back and forth as you dodge to effectively send you tumbling in a circle and keeping you stationary so that you remain in range of the res while still refunding your smoke charge. I am unsure if this is possible on controller. The next thing we need to talk about is actually a combo not to do. Previously, I told you to smoke yourself and then throw your grenade immediately after the grace period to maintain invisibility. You never want to do the reverse of this. Not only does it create a period of time where you are not invisible while you are throwing the grenade, but it also puts your guardian on a delay before they can use a smoke bomb. Throwing a grenade creates about a 1-second delay before it allows you to throw a smoke bomb, whereas there is no delay from throwing a smoke bomb first, allowing you to immediately throw your grenade afterwards. Now that you know everything that there is to know about Omnioculus Hunter, how do we want to play? Omnioculus Hunters thrive by being in the action. Always being in close quarters with enemies guarantees easy grenades to restore melee energy, and always having a target to dodge next to for a smoke bomb refresh. This is a very support and team-based playstyle, where your job is to make sure your teammates are always invisible. Not only does this keep them safe, but it refunds more of your cooldowns compared to only keeping yourself invisible, allowing you to do your job much more effectively. You are the team medic. There is no revive that can't be picked up while you have an Omnioculus Hunter on your team, no matter how many enemies are swarming it. In that same vein, it is paramount that you stay alive. You are the cloak that keeps your allies shrouded, so do what is necessary to keep yourself alive. That means not getting greedy and firing that extra shot on a champion. That means not overextending when your abilities are on cooldown. And most importantly, it means scouting out and analyzing a situation to determine how you are going to cycle your abilities to come out of it successful. An Omnioculus Hunter wants to keep their cooldown cycling at all times. Your dodge should always be used when available if you are lacking in smoke energy. Your grenade must hit targets that are stationary or have predictable movement patterns to refund smoke energy. You must continuously keep allies smoked to assist with refunding your cooldowns. And you must utilize the grace period to maintain permanent invisibility through all of this. Your invisibility lasts for 7 seconds as well, so be sure to remain invisible for as much of that time as possible to let your grenade, smoke, and especially your dodge all passively regenerate during that period. Exiting invisibility too early on multiple occasions in a short time period will also leave you without ability cooldowns, as you will not be giving them time to recharge while you remain shrouded. Now that you know how to do everything, what stats and mods can you use to complement your new playstyle? Beginning with the stats, 100 mobility is the core building block for this playstyle. Your dodge is the most crucial part of your kit, so making sure it is up as soon as possible, which is every 18 seconds with 100 mobility, is important. I know Heart of the Pack grants mobility, but you won't have it up 24/7, especially if you misuse your abilities on accident, so having an 18-second dodge in the back pocket as a guarantee is the best failsafe that you can have. After that, I recommend taking somewhere between 7 to 8 recovery. At these tiers, you fully regen your HP in 7.4 and 7 seconds respectively. Considering you get some bonus recovery from Heart of the Pack when you do go invisible, plus 7 seconds of invisibility, running this much recovery guarantees that you can regen to full HP with every smoke bomb. Once that is taken care of, everything else gets dumped into discipline and strength, for obvious reasons. More discipline means more grenades, which means more smokes, and more strength means more smokes, which means more grenades. Make sure to say thanks to combat provision for that one. Resilience and intellect are a non-factor in this build, as you are invisible far too often for resilience to be important, and are hardly utilizing your super for anything other than the occasional boss damage burst and movement usage. Now before we get into mods, I put something special together for you. I have made a template build in Dim that contains all of the mods and elemental armor pieces that you need for this build. Simply click the link in the description below to copy this build into your Destiny item manager. It is still important to know what they do though. So the first piece of our mod setup requires us to have a stasis class item so that we can use utility kickstart, which refunds a portion of our class ability every time we use it. This takes our dodge from an 18-second cooldown to about a 16-second cooldown at tier 10 mobility. After that, we need 2 arc pieces to slot Radiant Light and Powerful Friends. I personally have Radiant Light on my helmet and Powerful Friends on my arc Omnioculus. When paired together, these mods grant 20 strength and 20 mobility respectively, both of which are stats that benefit us greatly. Our final 3 mods synergize together quite well. The first of which is Reaping Wellmaker, a void mod that I slot on my gloves, which you can obtain from the Splicer Servitor in the helm. This mod creates a void well of light every time you kill an enemy after using your class ability. This means every time we dodge, which we obviously will be doing a lot of, our next kill will create a void well of light at the position of the dead enemy. A well of light recharges 10% of an ability that currently has the lowest ability energy. However, if the element of the well matches your subclass, then it recharges 10% of all of your abilities. Since Bottom Tree Nightstalker is void, the void wells that we create will recharge 10% of all of our abilities. After that is Elemental Charge, which I slot on my cloak, which can be acquired from the war table in the helm. This mod makes you charged with light when picking up an elemental well, and gives you 2 stacks of charged with light if your subclass matches the element of the well, which as discussed before, it does. These charged with light stacks can be spent with our final mod, Protective Light, a void mod that I keep on my boots that grants you significant damage resistance whenever your shields are destroyed, with more stacks of charged with light granting increased duration of the resistance. Since we always get 2 stacks with elemental charge, we will always have bonus duration on our Protective Light. None of these mods are necessary to make this build work. They simply complement an already strong setup. Understanding all of the resources at your disposal and how to most effectively utilize them is important, but it is not everything. You will log on to your next Destiny session and throw on Omnioculus and most likely be disappointed with the results. You will waste your dodge due to being too far away, you will miss your grenade and not get smoke energy refunded, you will exit invisibility too quickly, and you will most likely mistime the grace period. I encourage you to push through this initial phase of mediocrity that is common whenever someone picks up something for the very first time. Mastery of this playstyle requires practice, and a lot of it. Having the muscle memory, rotations on a mental clock, and decision-making abilities are things that I can't teach in a video, but the more you practice this build, the more you will improve with it. In time, you will be invincible yourself, and after that, you will be having your allies permanently smoked along with you. And before you know it, you will be teaching your friends and clanmates exactly how they can become as OP as you. Now, this playstyle shines in activities where surviving is the primary goal, like Grandmaster Nightfalls, but it isn't quite as effective in things like raids, where Well of Radiance can still take the cake due to damage being much more valuable. With Witch Queen and Void 3.0 on the horizon, I expect this subclass and playstyle will surely see some changes that hopefully make it a top-tier contender for raids along with Well of Radiance, at which point I will certainly make another guide video on it showing you how to make the most of the newly available tricks. However, I expect the core gameplay loop and fundamentals to remain the same. If you want to see some highly experienced gameplay of everything we have talked about today, you can check me out live on my stream at twitch.tv/Mactics, where I run all sorts of high-end PvE content and carries while using Omnioculus Hunter. I will be over there to answer any questions you have about this playstyle and Destiny as a whole. This video took me a lot of time and effort to make, so if you enjoyed it, I would highly appreciate it if you could support me and my channel with a subscription. If you want to support me even further, I have left a tip link in the description. All of which gets sent there goes towards making more stuff like this. Good luck on your journey as an Omnioculus hunter, and as always, have a great day.